Hey, what's going on, you guys? My name is Rayge, and we are back today with another insight video here in regards to how much YouTube paid me in my first 6 months after being monetized. So I did actually make a video before this on how much YouTube paid me my first 1,000 subs. If you guys are interested in checking that out, I will link that in the description below. But today's video, guys, I want to walk through with you my experience of how I went through the monetization process and overall the YouTube payments in the first 6 months, because I do believe that there's a lot of amazing content creators getting started on the space, and I also want to share that because I am coming from a small channel perspective. I don't get a significant number of views, I don't get a crazy number of subscribers, but at the same time still enjoying the space, still enjoying creating content, especially for a gaming channel like mine. So having said that, let's get right to it. In regards to my channel here, just a quick overview. I'm a passionate free-to-play gamer that's focused on providing game guides and updates to the mobile game known as Marvel's Strike Force. Again, it's a small channel, but typically I created this channel to essentially provide insight and information as I'm playing the game and share my experiences. At the same time too, if there's opportunities where I can create value for my viewers, as well as give them shortcuts, key tips and tricks, that's essentially what I'm aiming to do, and that's what's become really a passion of mine and focused on my channel. Now, guys, having said that, I just want to quickly go over why I created a channel in the first place, and this was covered in my previous video, but just a quick recap here. There was an opportunity where there wasn't many content creators creating a lot of free-to-play casual advice, and this presented a unique situation for myself because I was actually new to the game, and as I was playing, I found it very difficult to find relatable advice as I was going through it. So I identified that there was a lack of casual free-to-play content, and that's actually what started my first video, which was on July 15th, 2020, as you see here on screen, which was my first ever video, right? The completion of content with minimum investment strategies. And that's kind of what signaled and paved way where I am right now, because it was an opportunity where I was trying to help my alliance and community, but public feedback and support pushed me to continue making content, and here we are today. So I just actually hit over 10,000 subs. That's why I'm appreciating this moment and making content like this, so that way I can share my experience and inspire those of you that are wanting to create content as well, because I do believe this is an amazing space where we can express our creativity and as well further that kind of community passion and really push the game towards a higher escalated level. Find that interest of what you're interested in, because there's just so many things that we can talk about and create on YouTube, and I believe it's an amazing space for that, especially that collaboration piece. Now, I do want to quickly go over the YouTube monetization. If you guys aren't aware of it, is that this is the main one which results in the advertising revenues. Typically, the two requirements are 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 valid public watch hours on long-form videos. Now, there is another shorts that you can do as well, and it requires more added hours. But again, this is going to be the main method that actually generates the majority of the revenues if you are interested in earning money. But let me go through my quick pointers here, guys, in case you are interested, which is that we shouldn't ever really be starting a channel with the incentive or intention to make money, because at the end of the day, it isn't really like a job, right? It's going to be eventually if the channel actually accelerates and progresses and so forth. But I think the key and most important thing really before you even start a channel is to know that it's about having fun. It's about having that opportunity to express yourself and have that creativity or passion that doesn't feel like work. Obviously, if there's an opportunity where that accelerates and you're having fun at the same time and getting money, that's going to be really awesome to see, right? But it should never be the first initial intention. It's more so an added bonus to everything I'm doing already, especially with my content really originating from the game content itself, and it's driven by the game updates and how my experience is playing the game. I do think that having a niche or some sort of game or some sort of specific interest is going to help narrow down a dedicated audience, especially with the viewers. When I'm taking a look at who subscribes to my channel, who takes the views of my channel, typically it's my dedicated audience base, and we have really good collaboration and community interaction. Definitely a key factor in growing that channel as well. So I think having a niche does help. Is it required? May or may not be, depending on kind of the sector or area that you're interested in. But at the same time, know that you also need to have that kind of staying factor, right? Depending on what you do, at the end of the day, if you want to retain an audience and if they want to be interested in taking a look at your content continually, you need to be making sure that this audience is the right audience for yourself. So that's definitely great food for thought there. And then lastly, guys, what's the value in the content, right? I think this is probably the most important factor to consider, because at the end of the day, there's got to be a reason why folks are checking out the channel or content. There needs to be an incentive. Maybe there's a curious factor. Maybe you're adding a specific personality kind of twist in terms of just adding that little spice of life to whatever content you're creating. But remember, that's going to be value that the audience perceives, and it's very important that it's either perceived as something they want to be maintaining, or maybe they're not a fan of it, and that's how you lose subscribers in the end, and ultimately not work your way towards growing the channel. So it's got balancing act, but for sure, if you feel like there is value in your content, there's an opportunity here to take advantage of it, and it's a creative space, so why not maximize the potential of that potentially, right? So guys, now that I've gone through all the little nitty gritty details here, I do want to talk about now finally the meat and potatoes, my video, which is the first 6 months being monetized, right? In this selected period, you can see I actually went through and I did actually get an opportunity to filter through the specific 6 months that were monetized. So December 15th is when I officially hit my 1,000 subs, as noted in my previous video. And then what I did is I just selected the drop down advanced mode here feature, and it's nice that YouTube does allow us that opportunity to revisit those historical periods from December 16th, 2020 to June 16th, 2021. And as you can see here, during that time frame, we've amassed almost 600,000 views, 40.4K in hours, which is very phenomenal in my honest opinion. I appreciate each and every one of you checking out the videos. I'm glad you've been able to find them valuable. But also, what's even more starking to me was it took me about 5 months to hit the 1,000 sub mark, and within the first 6 months following monetization, I actually tripled that growth. So I think it was a combination of some key videos that came out during that time. And you're going to find that with your channel is that there may be some videos just absolutely outperforming everything else. And those can be those driver videos that really bring that demand and attention to your channel. And obviously awareness is a big thing, but it also takes time to bring awareness out into the community. So I think it's tied back to that as well. So you can see over the 6 months then amassing $2,272, which is by no means a small amount of cash. So I'm very proud of this accomplishment. And that's why I want to talk about it, because it's not something that, again, I didn't have the intention to make money with this channel. It was more so to provide guides to my community and alliance. And it was really the public feedback and support that pushed me this way. So I'm really happy and pleased with how this turned out. This went into my savings account, and down later on the long term, I'm gonna really appreciate this. But at the end of the day, that was never the intention. It's nice to get rewarded though for something you are passionate in, and that's something I'm really grateful for. So I appreciate each and every one of you folks for helping me out with that. But guys, now I do want to further analyze this a little bit in more detail, just because of the information that we have seen with the first 6 months being monetized. So the 1,000 subs, when I first hit that mark, again, there was no money involved. There's no monetization, because you need to hit 1,000 subs in order to be eligible. It took about 5 months to achieve, and we were averaging about 25,000 views per month when I review back into that period and time frame. So just to kind of get a gauge of how many folks were visiting and taking a look at my channel and looking at the videos, right? The best video that came about was about 10,000 views, and then the lowest video count was about 120 views, averaging about 5 videos a week. So it was a pretty big divide. As you can see, one or two or three videos definitely drove up the demand, and that caught attention. Now, we're dealing with a longer time frame here with this first 6 months being monetized, right? And that averaged about $378 per month, by the way, for folks interested. And again, I just want to be transparent, so that way this is an opportunity to inspire folks that are wanting to create a channel or trying to dive into the space as well. But yeah, over that span of the 6 months, like I said earlier, we tripled the sub count. We went from 1,000 subs to essentially 4,100 subs, which is astronomical gains. I think part of it probably is tied back to YouTube algorithms seeing that a channel is catching fire, and then obviously they're really showcasing your channel, and you're getting more traffic and demand going through, and I think that's super helpful for small channels. So I hope they keep that up. Keep in mind, this was a couple years back, but I do see this trend happening quite a bit with smaller channels, so I appreciate YouTube for actually bringing that awareness out. But you can see this is really what drove, I think, a big portion of the subs as well, is that I went from 25,000 views in that 1,000 sub period to 99,000 views per month. That is almost 4 times the average views I was getting. So there were some key videos and updates coming into the game that drove this demand, and that is largely going to be tied back to the subs I was getting, right? The views bring subscribers, but also the subscribers were sharing and distributing that, which brought in views. So it was almost like a never-ending circle, which added to my channel immensely. Absolutely huge, right? The best video was about 41,000 views, and then the lowest one was 200. So the extremities of the two differences only grew, but it was still roughly about 4.5 to 5 videos a week. And I think the big thing here I want to point out is consistency, right? I think a lot of channels do try to start and create a lot of good content in the beginning, but I will say, like, I've been doing YouTube for the past few years right now, and my channel is still very small, but at the same time, I've always been consistent. I think that's a really important thing to maintain when you're maintaining a channel, just because it's continually driving that YouTube algorithm, but at the same time, you have a dedicated audience that is going to be retaining that kind of interest, so as long as you're interested as well in the space that you're diving in. So guys, I had a reflections moment, just taking a look back of, what really drove that success. And it's gonna be a couple things, right? I mentioned it already, but I think consistency is a very, very important piece. But make sure that consistency is a pace that works for your lifestyle and interest. Like, for example, when I was showcasing for you that 4 to 5 videos are made per week on my channel, that may not work for your lifestyle. Maybe you're more of a 1 video a week, but regardless, whatever pace that may be, make sure you maintain it, because I think that definitely does get factored into the algorithm. If you're a YouTube channel that typically makes, 5 to 6 videos a week, and all of a sudden you just drop it off, that does take a hit. And I've seen that happen numerous times to channels. So that's why there is that fear sometimes. If you're going on vacation or leaving for an extended amount of time, that could definitely play a factor for sure. But just be mindful of it. It is not the end of the world, because you can always kind of revive the channel back to your content if you have a dedicated audience, right? Speaking of audience though, I do want to give a huge shout out to the community members and audience that do find my channel helpful. I appreciate each and every one of you, because my channel wouldn't be where it is today without you folks. That's through the engagement, the comments, the feedback. Heck, half of my videos came from ideas from folks letting me know, what they're trying to understand or look for in the game itself. And that, it makes it so much easier as a content creator, because part of that issue sometimes is figuring out what to do with content, and it makes it easy when you have an audience that's engaged. So thank you so much for that. And then lastly, guys, I want to touch on this again because I brought it up earlier, but I cannot stress this enough: the value in content. Why am I interested in the content that I'm making? What value does it have for the community or the folks that are viewing this? Because at the end of the day, that's going to be what's bringing back and connecting the community with your channel. And once you figure that out, and it's something that you are passionate and interested in, it doesn't even feel like work anymore. It's just you expressing yourself, and you have a collective community that is also aligned with your interests. So hopefully this helps you guys. Hopefully this paints some transparency on how much YouTube actually paid me in the first 6 months. I hope this is an inspiring video, because this is exactly what I'm trying to do with my channel, is that I'm pivoting with Marvel Strike Force as my mobile game, but at the same time figured I can utilize this as a platform to also talk about how YouTube is treating channels, and as well coming from a small channel perspective. I'm really grateful for each and every one of you. Hopefully this helps you guys further your path, and if you're able to create a channel, please link that below. I would love to check it out. Thank you for your time as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.